everyone, welcome back to the Passion Project. I'm your girl Juanita Michelle, lifestyle coach and YouTube blogger, and I am back again with another bi-weekly installment of the Passion Project. Today I'm going to talk about something that's near and dear to me, and it's near and dear to me because I have always been the type of person that prides myself on organizing my life and organizing my space. And it's funny because my parents probably never thought that that would be me, because when I was younger, much younger, I was quite messy, and my room would seldom be clean or tidy, I should say, and it was always back and forth between us as to, why I can't keep a clean room. And, something happened. I grew up. I went off to college, and I had suite mates and roommates because I spent my first year on campus. And, child, let's just say I felt my mother's pain. I felt it because I turned into Susie Homemaker, cleaning the bathroom for 6 people. Yeah, I'm not going to talk too much about that, but it opened up my eyes, and I guess, maybe just a switch flipped, and I just became this super organized. Well, I was always organized, but I was not always tidy in my space. I guess I just was too occupied with other things. I just felt like a lot to do, and I would only clean once in a blue moon, like tidy up after myself once in a blue moon. But thank God for change. And as an adult, I am pretty anal, and it's with good reason about being organized and tidy. Now, my space may not always look as I want it to, and it may not be as clean and pristine as I want it to, but I've always coached other people and encouraged other people to do their best to create a space that is functional. And it's not just so that it looks good, but actually having an untidy, cluttered space and mind impacts your mental health and your well-being. And in fact, you might have issues with your ambition, or you might find that you're having issues focusing on the future. I talk a lot about passion and plans, and I know that there are people who watch my channel who are void of passion, and they don't feel any desire for anything, and they're really not sure what's next. And a lot of that has to do with what's happening up here. And sometimes what's happening up here is a result of what's happening in our space. So today we're going to talk about decluttering, why you keep clutter, how it affects you, and what you can do to fix it. So let's jump right in. Now, there are a lot of reasons why people keep a lot of things in their space, whether they have space or not. But I'm going to list the 3 main reasons why I think we keep clutter. The first one is overspending. We see a sale, and because there's a sale, we buy things, whether we need them or not. And we go to these events and we bring home things from the event that we know we're not going to use. Consumerism is a really big part of why there's clutter in a lot of our houses, in a lot of our spaces, because we're always buying things. I've really never been the type of person to buy things that I don't need, but I understand that that is not the norm. People shop until they drop, and then at the end of the day, they have nowhere to put stuff. So overspending. Number 2, sentiment. Now, this is where I'm guilty. When you talk about sentimental value, if someone has gifted me with something, especially if it was, out of love, or for my birthday, or for Christmas, or, a special milestone or event that only happened once and will only happen once, I keep them. So right now I have 2 bins full of souvenirs and memoirs and booklets, when you go to graduations or programs, cards. I keep every single card that anyone has ever given me. Even the cards that come on the flowers, because I love flowers. Whenever someone has ever sent me flowers or basket or a teddy bear or whatever, I have it. Believe it or not, as long as I've been alive, I keep them. And so as far as sentimental value goes, we keep a lot of stuff just because of the emotional value that it has and, the attachment that we've grown to these items. And number 3, future pacing. So we keep things just in case. I can put the camera this way, open this closet, and show you my computer box, all kinds of boxes. I keep boxes in the event that, I need to sell something, or I need to send it back to the manufacturer, or I need to go get it fixed. You know what I mean? Because we live on an island, so we might have to ship things. I keep things just in case, and I know we all do that. I'll show you an example. This is my protein powder bucket. I buy the 7-pound bucket. I put charcoal in there, and I put holes in it to try and absorb some of the moisture. So sometimes it's with good reason, but sometimes you can throw the crap away, especially if it's broken. So here's how clutter affects you, even if you're not conscious of it. The first reason is stress. Having all of this stuff in your space, not only is it an eyesore, it's a brain sore, and it produces cortisol, which is a stress hormone in your brain. And the crazy part about that is the more cortisol you produce, the more cortisol you will produce. So, in other words, if you're always in a state of stress, if you always walk in the door and you're seeing things all over and you don't know what to do about it, or you just can't get a handle on the clutter that's in your life or your mind, your stress levels are going to increase. And what happens is, over time, the brain structure changes and the brain becomes even more sensitive to stress. So you will continue to feel more stressed when clutter or any type of stressor comes out. The second way that clutter affects you is decreased productivity. And that is because of overstimulation. So with increased stimuli, when there's too much stimuli or stuff around you, things that you can see, everything that you can see or touch or hear or smell or taste, it's stimuli coming towards you. So the more stimuli that you're seeing or feeling in your space, the less you're able to focus. And the less you're able to focus, the less you're able to do effectively. So you might find that it affects your work. If you have a cluttered desk at work, you might miss deadlines because you haven't planned appropriately, because you have all this stuff in your peripheral and it's not organized and you don't know where to begin. Number 3, it depletes your energy. So again, everything that is around you, the stuff that's in your space, produces energy. So it's matter. If you know anything about physical science, you know that physical things have energy. Even if they are not living things, they still produce energy. And if you are surrounded by things and you're not practical or intentional about what those things are, you could be depleting your energy by simply being in the room. So it's usually not possible to relax in a room that's full of things and clutter, and there's no rhyme or organization in the room. It's just full of stuff everywhere. It's really hard to relax. That's why it's easy to relax in a spa. A spa is usually decorated in colors and with items, non-living items, that are green or white or beige, or just any type of color that's earthy and calm and produce the type of energy that we want to absorb to feel relaxed. And lastly, it interrupts your sleep. Yes, having clutter interrupts your sleep. So if you are sleeping on a bed that has things on it other than your pillows and your sheets, guess what? You are going to wake up in the middle of the night several times a night. Unless you are one of the world's hardest sleepers, like you sleep like a log, chances are you're not gonna sleep through the night. The same thing applies if you have a lot on your mind. If your mind is cluttered, you just have all this stuff that you have to work through and you're not working through it in any type of organized way, you are not going to sleep well. Even if you sleep through the night, you will not feel rested, and that will continue to happen. And then you're going to see some of the effects that we just talked about, especially the first effect where your stress levels are going to be higher than they ought to be, and we do not want that. So I've written a couple ways that you can work on clutter in your space and keep the energy good and clean and positive, right? So number one, quite simple, but we make a task out of it. I'm not sure why, but organize your space. Instead of throwing things on the ground or not having somewhere to put things, which is one of the biggest reasons why we even have clutter in the first place. Organize. So buy bins, cabinets, get you some labels, and make sure you know where everything goes so that you have somewhere to put it back when you're done using it. Number two, deep clean at least once a year. So what that means is every year at the same time, go through your clothing, go through your closets, go in your kitchen, go in your bathroom, in your garage, and discard or sell anything that you have not used within that year. An entire year has gone, 365 days have passed, and you have not used it. You do not need it. Okay? You don't need it because it's been a year. I'm trying to think of something that you might not need for an entire year. Okay, maybe a suitcase. You might not use a suitcase because you haven't traveled. Don't throw away your suitcases. Don't throw away your passport. But things like candles and books and shoes and clothes and utensils, electronics that you're just not using, they're just there, taking up space. Throw them away if they're of no use, or sell them. Have a garage sale. Give them away if you can afford to do that. Give them to someone in need. But deep clean at least once every year. Number three is related to mental clutter. So mental clutter to me is equally disturbing, if not more. And the way that I tackle it and the way that I'm suggesting you tackle your mental clutter is to write everything down. Write everything down. Keep one book. Don't go and buy a bunch of books. Either keep one book or one dry erase board or one chalkboard, and every day write a to-do list and prioritize the items in order of importance or urgency. And then when the following day comes, you would add new items and then reorganize them in order of priority and urgency. You basically are physically taking them off your mind and putting them on paper. Trust me, it's magic. If you do this regularly and consistently, it literally feels like you are transferring thoughts to paper. And then your mind all of a sudden just feels clear. Try it. If you've never tried it, do it today or tomorrow. For goodness and heaven's sake, please stop buying souvenirs. Stop. I know somebody gonna say, well, how can you go to a foreign land and not buy anything? It's like a part of the trip. You have to. Negative. That's not so. Don't buy souvenirs you will never use. Okay? If you're gonna buy a souvenir, buy a pen. We all write. Don't buy a keychain if you already have 5 of them. Don't do that. Don't buy oven mitts if you already have 10 of them. Don't buy ceramic dishes if you are not going to use them. Do not buy souvenirs that you're going to put down, especially if you travel often. If you don't go anywhere and you take one trip every 5 years, okay, maybe you can shop till you drop. But people who travel every year, several times a year, you're ridiculous. You do not need to buy souvenirs. And if you're going to buy souvenirs, get something that someone else is going to like and use. Even when you're shopping for other people, don't just buy them knickknacks. I have never understood that concept. I've never done it. I never will. When I buy souvenirs, I buy things I actually use. Same when I buy souvenirs for other people. I don't just buy them something because it has the country's name on it. I buy them things that I know they're going to use. Okay? And last but not least, stop taking stuff home from people just because they stay here. Stop doing that. Now you're gonna go to somebody's house. You're gonna go to Miss Daisy's house, and Miss Daisy gonna say, "My dear child, let me give you this such and such to go home with." You could respectfully say, "Miss Daisy, I don't have anywhere to put it. I'm sorry." And let's extend this rule further. Stop taking home other people's baggage. You can easily listen to people's hardships. You can offer advice. You can offer a listening ear. You can offer your shoulder. You can be a support. You can also offer to follow up with them. But that does not mean that you have to take it home with you. It's not yours. You don't collect other people's problems. You offer the help that you're going to offer, and then you leave it there. Leave it at the foot of the cross. I'm telling you. Because it's one thing to be cluttered with your own thoughts and preoccupation, but it's so much worse and heavier when you're walking around with a bunch of people's issues. So stop bringing home stuff that people give you. Give it back. Okay? Unless you truly have use for it, give it back. Or don't take it at all. All right, y'all. And today's quote of the day is by yours truly. So I'm often thinking of clever ways to help people remember concepts. Today's quote of the day is, "Clarity gives way to enlightenment." I'll repeat. Clarity gives way to enlightenment. So when your mind is clear, when your space is clear, that's when the magic happens. That's when your passions become evident. That's when your spirit is lifted. That's when all things become clear. This has been another passion-packed life hack moment with your girl, one and only Juanita Michelle, on the One and Only Passion Project. And I hope to see you guys Thursday after next. It's been real. Take care.